Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, when I first heard about the Bill Cosby Supreme Court ruling letting him go, I assumed it was based upon the trial courts allowing so much collateral information into the courtroom. However, after reading and listening, I discovered, just like you, that the reason for the reversal is that the prosecutor told Bill Cosby he would not be charged, would not be indicted, and he could voluntarily give this information up in a civil case. Bill Cosby relied upon that. That prosecutor is no longer the prosecutor. New prosecutor comes in. That prosecutor pursued this case. Now, I just want everybody to know that it seems to me the Supreme Court got it right from a legal standpoint, because Bill Cosby obviously got a royal screwing from the system. None of that has anything to do with the merit of the charges against Bill Cosby. But this is another example of how the legal system is just so screwed up and so broken. Why? That issue of the prosecutor being able to go forward should have been resolved all the way through the pipeline first, not after a trial. This guy has spent 2 years in prison. I think it's 2 years in prison that he should have never spent. And guess who has immunity? Prosecutors. So it's just a cluster mess all the way around. But can you imagine that? The prosecutors say, oh, you talk. The reason why that's important is it's called due process. You got the Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself. He incriminated himself some because they promised him he wasn't going to get prosecuted. Oh, we changed our mind. Trump at the border. Trump went down the border with Texas Governor Abbott and let it rip. Let it rip. Good for Trump. That's all I got to say on that. Our next issue is the Trump organization and the CFO being indicted. And I can't stress this enough. The media, remember what I say about the media. They're a bunch of dumbasses. Have you ever tried to talk to somebody in the media and explain some complicated legal proceeding? Trust me, I do it all the time. And they're just not bright. These are journalists, folks. They got no law school training, no nothing. They don't understand squat. And of course, you have a biased media with the American Communist end. What this is all about is members of this CFO's family and him getting some benefits that would be considered income and not paying tax. It's got nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the Trump organization because the guy worked for the Trump organization. But that has nothing to do with Trump. We'll see what the American Communist 10 media does with all this. Rumsfeld, just want to acknowledge his death like everybody else was doing yesterday. I at first thought Rumsfeld was this nice, charming guy, clever, funny. But by the time it was all said and done, I was like, what the hell, Rumsfeld? That's the way I feel about the guy. A topless woman at an aquatic center says she was a man. She was identifying as a man. The aquatic center did nothing. Wow. Let's see how many people follow this path. Pretty funny, pretty clever, isn't it? It's going to happen all across pools, all across America this summer. Reports are that Kamala's staff, working on Kamala's staff, is hell. The VP, lots of former staff members, current staff members, are letting it rip that it is a cesspool. Does that shock you? Look at Kamala Harris. She is an empty shell of a human being and a person who has had sex to begin her political career with a 62-year-old married man, worked her way all the way through Attorney General California, U.S. Senator California, pretending to be black. She actually is Jamaican, and I forgot the other ethnicity. But Kamala Harris, she's just pure politician. Never solved the problem, accomplished a damn thing in her life. Just laughs off everything. It makes me sick. Jim Acosta, he goes down CNN. He just goes all the way to the border just to ask Trump, is he going to apologize for January 6th? What a jackwad. You wonder why CNN? I mean, these people are like kids in high school. Jim Acosta. He still has his job, though. New reports, Hunter and Joe Biden Joe did meet with Hunter's Mexican business partners. Is there a country that Hunter Biden didn't do business with? Ukraine, China, Mexico, every place. Oh, Hunter, man, he sets him up everywhere. This guy is shameless. Unbelievable. CNN and ABC have gotten a little bit of backlash for glowingly reporting about the China Communist Party's 100th anniversary. Unfreaking believable. Can you imagine our local news doing a special about Hitler, special about Stalin, Mao? I mean, these are stone cold killers. Minneapolis held hostage. There were some Minneapolis protesters that held council people hostage, blocking their path. And they said, we're serious. And they were demanding release of people. That's what's going on in Minneapolis now. Crazy. Air Force. The Air Force has announced that those airmen get to choose whether they want to walk or run for their physical test skills. The wussification of America continues even with the Air Force. A Texas dad shot a guy who was outside his 10-year-old's bedroom window, whacking it. Good for that Texas guy. We give him Oracle status. Good job, Dad. A little comedy from the Babylon Bee. The NFL is going to have rainbow flags. So those players that aren't gay enough during the course of the game are going to get a rainbow flag. Passport gender. The Biden administration is making gender an optional thing, really, on your passport. You know, you can be transy, you can be a dog. Who knows what the hell they're going to do? Just more BS. The Pennsylvania governor vetoed the election integrity bill. Guess what party he's in? Yes, the Democratic Party. There's been 1 million migrants, illegal immigrants, since October 2020. 1 million pouring into this country. Terrible. I'm going to give Oracle status also to Bridget Malcolm, 26-year-old model of Victoria's Secrets, who publicly came out against Victoria's Secret's bullshit of having big fat transy models and everything else. Good for her. Tarantino, he's opened his mouth and said he wishes he would have done more to stop Harvey Weinstein, and also said Hollywood is no longer entertaining, it's all about the agenda. This is when we save our country, is when people like Tarantino and others start fighting back. Bill Maher, others. That's when we save our country. The American Families Plan would put 21 million more people on welfare. Sounds like a great plan, Joe. Way to go. Robert Johnson, a billionaire black businessman, supports $14 trillion. Where are we going to find that? $14 trillion in reparations, and he wants his check too. Wow. You know what? As those memes say, I never owned a slave. They never picked cotton. Crazy. Hyperinflation. Larry Summers, the Bill Clinton finance guy, Treasury Secretary, who I think was a moron. But McConnell is praising him now because even Larry Summers is saying they pass all these trillions and trillions of more dollars, we're going to have hyperinflation. Folks, hyperinflation is like inflation on steroids. And by golly, that would crush the poor and middle class in this country. Confederate statues. They vote in Congress to take down all the anybody who served in the Confederacy. What problem in America does that solve? Not a damn thing. New York City election chaos. They counted 135,000. They were sample test ballots. They counted them. Test ballots. How did that happen? New York City. There's never any election fraud. Never, never, never. CNN's audience has dropped 50%. Hope for America. Hamilton. The Hamilton show is apparently going to get $30 million in federal aid. Why? A Broadway show, $30 million in federal aid. Crazy. Pride versus USA flag. A New York vendor got the hell beat out of him. By the way, a postal worker also did. Got the hell beat out of him because he wouldn't replace the American flag with the pride flag. You get beat up in America now today for having an American flag and not a pride flag. Last but not least, Clyburn, South Carolina. He is going nuts about Defund the police is cutting the throats of the Democratic Party. Too bad, Clyburn. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.